My name is George Mari. I'm from Durban and I'm a musician. I have a master's in composition. My instruments are trumpet and piano. Thanks to SAJE for this invite to talk about myself and my music and things that are related to my music. I want to talk to you about piano tuning as being something I've been engaging in as an interest and also as a way to earn some extra money. My first encounter with the piano tuning was when I was a teenager in my parents' home, and we bought a piano that was out of tune, and we called in a piano tuner. I asked him a million things. I was kind of fascinated from that time, I would say, well, because I was also learning the piano, being a trumpet player before that. And I was just curious about everything about the piano. Piano tuning is a very niche skill to have, okay? Because if you travel so everywhere in the world, you'll find that there are very few piano tuners. Some say it's a dying trade. And in South Africa, it's been an unusually niche thing, because when I started to learn about piano tuning, I also found that there was just no information out there, right? There were no people I could meet. There was an institution, yes, that was created by the Nationalist Party, you may remember, those days, and that closed down in 1989. That institution, I believe, was primarily for people that were blind. In KZN, there used to be a company called Tablas. Unless you were part of that group, you were sort of exposed to tuning and piano restoration and all that kind of stuff. So it was almost impossible when I started to be sort of interested in this thing to even get any information. I carried on, and I had a spanner. Yes, this is true. I had a spanner and I tried to tune one of the strings on the piano to my detriment, so please don't do that. And I slowly started to buy tools. I think I've started to buy tools around the time I went to university, and that wasn't easy because the people that sold it to me, they asked me a million questions as if, the piano tuning sector, I thought in the beginning, until recently, was a very snobbish, very closed sector, because it wasn't easy for me or anybody else to access. If you've called a piano tuner and say, I want to learn to tune the piano, in fact, you should try that. They'll give you a long story and say, no, you shouldn't do it, and you should go to a reputable school, Since the internet, everything changed, slowly piano tuning videos and things surface. You can buy books online, and so I've got a few books. I've watched many videos, and now it's easier to call a tuner. I belong to quite a few sort of internet groups, piano tuning groups from kind of all over the world. So I'm in correspondence via email or Facebook with tuners from Indonesia to Canada to America to London, and most recently to India as well, So the information is out there. I also want to say very importantly, that I think if I speak to musicians, that I found that that you can make connections to what you do as a musician to doing something else that you'd like to do, There's enough time in the day to play an instrument and practice and do something else, You could be a chef and a jazz musician, like Miles Davis was. So the thing is, there's quite a lot of things that you could do as a musician. Like for myself, as a musician, I'm in contact with piano players because I play the piano. I've got friends who play the piano, and they're very kind of supportive. And you can tune their pianos. That's if you can tune and not mess the piano up. Okay, the things I also like to say, although I'm speaking about piano tuning, it isn't something which you should try just like that. You should find a mentor, read up a lot about it, get as much training as you can, and practice, and then you get it right. Fortunately for me, because of maybe my age, that when I started to play as a young boy, almost everyone had a second job, in a shoe factory or a chef or a school teacher that played music. So I think I grew up with that kind of thing, that it wasn't an unusual thing. But I think through specialization, through the university system and all that, through education, people specialize, say, oh, I'm a trumpet player, and I'm just that, I'm an artist, or and focus only that. I think there's nothing wrong with earning a buck, you know what I mean, as a musician, and if things are bad, you do something else. And I would say it'll be a natural thing to do is to find something close to your area of expertise. Like if you're a musician, the first thing I think you'd want to do is you want to teach music. You can fix instruments, you could buy and sell pianos, you could run a club, you could be a band leader. That's the first thing musicians should try and do. Try to be a band leader. Upgrade yourself, whichever. Be a composer, be a copyist. I don't hear people say, I want to be a copyist. It's such an important job to do. Be an arranger. South Africans, we lack arrangers big time. I mean, you know it. There's so much you can do with it, but don't have the fear of it. We'll try it. If it doesn't work out, you can do something else, or don't do it at all. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta make a plan. A musician, we are creative people, and one of the things about creativity is that we are very proactive, we are instigators, you gotta make a plan. You can't sit at home and say, oh, let me wait for a call. I'm good, I'll just get the gig, Because I think it's more than a gig now, it's like kind of serious, it's serious stuff. You want to buy a house, you want to have your own car, you want to have a family, you want to have kids, you want to send them to school, okay? So I think you need to think about that and make plans according to that. You know what I'm saying? It is possible. You've got to think about investment plans, small saving accounts. Experiences with COVID, I think, if anything, we've all learned, especially the musicians and artists, is that our trade is very fickle, right? It's a global thing, okay? So I think we've learned that, we got to save for a rainy day, we got to think like an entrepreneur, we got to think that music is a business, although we freelancers and all that kind of stuff, but you can still make a decent living freelancing and promoting yourself. For me, a key word is find connections in what you do as an artist to other things. So if as an artist you are punctual, then you can apply it to, if you're a piano tuner, you got to be punctual, you got to be responsible, you got to have sober habits, you got to be kind. All these things apply to what you do as an artist. You got to be very disciplined, you got to work hard at it, you got to get your tools, you got to get the instruments right. I mean, it's hard being an artist, that's for true, but it's joyous and it's rewarding in very spiritual ways and in fulfilling ways, and you're making a good difference in the world.